peace, family. How's everybody doing? I hope that you all are having a wonderful Saturday so far. We are officially on the Eclipse Weekly Horoscope. So I'm really super excited about this. I mean, there are always things that you could say that are going to be super bad and all that other stuff. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some super bad. I always try to make sure I cover the positives and the negatives. But I think on an even wider scale overall, I feel this as super, super, super positive. Especially for the people who have really been doing the work, right? We had a pretty unexpected, massive eclipse season with Gemini and Sagittarius, right? And so, what did you learn? Did you take what you learned and put that and add that somehow into your daily understanding, your daily everyday things that you do? Did you make it a way of life? And that's really what we're going to be seeing here. We're getting a preview into where we're headed as a collective and individually. As the nodes don't actually change into Taurus and Sagittarius until mid-January. So this is going to show us what we need to leave behind in order to succeed in the opportunities coming from this Taurus eclipse. And so full moons are about acknowledging something and releasing it. This is showing us a glimpse of what we need to work on. I was really reflecting back on this time, how could I help people understand what eclipse is, how eclipse energy really works? And I was reflecting back when we had the eclipses back in March, and the whole world shut down, right? And so what was it that was coming up for everybody was to really sit down and get to our deepest desires of what we want. And so we kind of had this beautiful opportunity to really sit down and discover what that was without the distractions, right? And lo and behold, it ended up lasting a whole lot longer than I'm sure all of us could have ever imagined, on top of the fact that we had this huge fear around connecting. So the social distancing thing, became our new reality. And so in that sense, it's we could have never imagined a shutdown globally. By the way, this was not just, one way or the other, but a global shutdown. And the two things that came out of it is, one, we never expected it to last as long as it did. And two, we never expected to learn what we learned from it, or maybe we did, maybe you do have some inkling, because these are things that have been happening throughout time. And I'll be talking more about all of that and breaking all of that down throughout all these eclipses. But, that's what we're experiencing right now, what is going to be brought to light right now. So pay attention to the things that are coming up for you around this time, because what's going to happen is you'll have more time for that storyline to evolve and grow, and you'll learn something from it that's going to change your perspective some way, somehow, on how you move forward, ultimately leading you to your mission, your purpose, what is meant for you, your gifts, your rewards, what is meant to be given to you for this lifetime. Okay. So I hope that made sense. But that's how I was kind of thinking about this. So family, please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And the notification bell so you get notified every time I go live. I do weeklies every Saturday to give you a glimpse into what to expect for the week. If you want your weekly horoscope that's specifically dedicated to you, please send me an email at info@awayoflife.net, and just make sure you put in there weekly horoscope, and I'll send you the link to to sign up for your weekly horoscope. You do need your birth date, time of birth, and location of birth in order to participate in this family. It's crucial to accuracy, as well as I have the Life Path Astrology workshop now on Teachable, where you could do this at any given time on your time, right from home, and access to ask me questions at any given time. That gives you your blueprint, your cosmic blueprint that is directly related to your birth chart, and how to expand on your goals and your dreams. And then you also have the subscription for, if you want to learn astrology. I'm still working on how to really expound on that. I mean, I have some ideas, but haven't really been able to work on it. But nonetheless, the subscription is available where you have access to, I think I have about 20 word search puzzles on there. That's just a fun way to learn astrology to me. I thought, how cool would it be? So I'm going through all the different facets. If you've been a part of my Patreon page, you know I have a class, a workshop there. And so I'm basically just taking all the literature that I had in there and putting them into word search puzzles. So I've done 20 so far. It's probably even a little bit more than that. And there will be lots more to come. As well as I'm thinking about adding all my blogs on that subscription. And then that's it. So the weeklies, the workshop, and then I have a book coming that's going to help you learn these transits and your chart as well, which I'm really, really excited about. I really can't wait till I finish it. That's going to be my baby right there, but stay tuned for more on that. And yeah, I think right at the tippity top of my head, that's about everything. All right, so please be sure also to listen to your sun, moon, and rising on the November horoscopes. I would definitely just go back and re-listen to those because I gave a lot more information in there as well. And that the sun, moon, and rising give you a full story of what's going on. All right, as far as horoscopes go, because I won't be doing horoscopes in this video. Okay, so the eclipse will be on the 19th, which I believe is Friday, if I'm not mistaken. This coming Friday. So you can start to feel this 5 days before and 5 days after. And so things may work differently for everybody. Again, because the eclipses don't actually start until mid-January. So we may be feeling this a lot stronger at that time. It's another thing to keep in mind. Then over the next 6 months, what we'll be able to see is like the outcome of whatever has been coming up for us. So I'd really even say since September, if you want my honest opinion, because we're both included in incorporating the ending cycles of the Gemini Sagittarius eclipse as well as this new cycle. So we're ending something and beginning something. And so I'd say that has started since September. What has been coming up for you all the way through to mid-January. And then the next 6 months, we'll see the full storyline play out, the completion of that being played out. And not necessarily the completion, but the completion of that part. Because, right, we got 18 months of this transit. So I'll say more pieces to the puzzle. That's what I'll say. In another 6 months. And so, which, by the way, family, as I'm reconstructing my website, I don't even know if I want it back on. I'm going to be so honest with you. I'm not entirely sure I'm interested in having a website at all. I'm still just trying to figure out my life. Like, do I? We'll see. But in saying that, what I would like to say is that I'm thinking about making my YouTube page my website, and that way, that's how you're going to be able to contact me for any of my services, which means I'll be changing all the services, which are in the description box below, by the way, family. Everything that I offer, although right now it's not updated, so just ignore that. But I will be redoing it in that way. And on my IG page, all the links will be on my and the link in my bio as well. And so right now, none of that stuff is updated. But I'm saying all that to say is that I typically change the highlighted video on my YouTube page to the last Taurus new moon. Right? Because that's what it would have been 6 months ago. And so going back and listening to that video as well to see maybe if you can get more information as to what was coming up for you at that time is definitely going to bring in more pieces of the puzzle to this as well to help you kind of figure out what's coming up for you. And then I have the actual eclipse video on this eclipse where I'm just talking about the eclipse, where I talk about, I go in a little bit more in depth about the actual eclipse as well as the yearlies, which, by the way, I have 1.5 left. And then I'll start to post those right away. Again, family, as far as the yearlies that I have, if I don't get my laptop fixed tomorrow, I'll just have to redo it, which is dreadful to me. So I don't even want to talk about when I'm going to have it ready, but probably within another week or so. Just be patient with me on that. But nonetheless, in that yearly, I have all the history of the last eclipses that we had, and I'll go into more detail and more in depth on that, which I'm so super excited for everybody to hear, because that information is always so enlightening and very just super interesting, especially if you're trying to learn astrology. So yeah, more to come on this eclipse. This is just the weekly, so yep. This eclipse will make a T-square with Jupiter. This is not a harsh energy. So squares normally bring some kind of tension. And it could be, you know, a tough angle. But because we're talking about Jupiter here, I don't feel like this is that. I think what Jupiter is going to do is kind of have us over exaggerating our reactions to things, like not having realistic dreams, so like over dreaming. And so what happens is that our expectations are going to be so lit that we might not be able to reach them realistically. So making sure that we're keeping realistic goals. about any kind of excitement that comes up here. It's actually going to give us great results, I think. Honestly, if I'm being like truthful with myself, because again, you have to like keep in mind that ending, like, give yourself some credit. Like, you've learned something over the last 2 years, you know, like something has become super focused, clear to you that you need to change, or that is coming in, or that you have been working on over these last 18 months, right? And so, again, it's just like we're probably not going to be as excited about what's coming in, because we're not going to hit the over exaggerated expectations that we have, right? And that's just how I feel like Jupiter is coming in. People can be super excited about getting to the truth, that is some truth that is exposed during this time. Now, it could be collectively, like on the world stage, but we might also have some wild, again, expectations about that truth over the next few months. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, it's great, but again, it's just not, once we get there in the next 6 months, it's going to be like, oh, well, I thought I was going to feel a lot better. I don't know what kind of word to use for that. I just feel like, you know, hey, it is what it is. I actually feel like this is me. Like, I know I've already feel the excitement of what I see coming for myself, but also at the same time, my Saturn, like, I have a Saturn north and south node, the south node to be exact. And so Saturn is always like, just sat down somewhere. So I'm like super excited about what's coming up. And I'm also like, but you know, just be in the moment, stay grounded, and remind yourself that this is a congratulations for all the hard work that you've done, right? And so even in that sense, I feel like it could be like you get what you want around, say, a career goal where you get super, super busy. You're making the money that you want, but you're busy, right? Or you get start your own business, and it tends to work out just as you thought it should, but you're super busy, right? And so even it could be to that extent somehow that this is showing up for us, and it's like, not really what I was thinking. And so Pluto is also going to be T-square with this eclipse. And so again, we might be feeling really, really intense or really passionate about something that causes a lot of excitement. But we're just not going to be able to see it. Like, we're just not. I keep fighting. Well, what can I use to whatever? I'm just going to stop trying. And so, I actually was thinking about other ways that this could be, because we're going to have that really positive pocket of energy coming between the 26th and the 30th of this month. And I'm really feeling like this is going to be the universal stuff that I think I've spoken about in past videos, like public welfare for everybody. And I don't know how that sounds saying it out loud. I know a lot of people might be like, what do you mean? Universal health care for everyone. So these could be things like continuous child care tax credits, continuous stimulus checks, continuous, health care for everybody no matter what. And maybe even on some certain levels of something, this could totally be like some kind of partial remote work, or what was the word? Oh, there's a word I'm trying to think of, but that's making me crazy. Yeah, I can't think of the word, but just like the option to work from home is what I'm saying. But it might not be consistent. It might be like 2 or 3 days out of the week, people officially work from home and not full time in the office. Things of that nature. And there was something else. I feel like all these small businesses, we might not quite see the benefits to it just yet, but I think it's coming. So information and tidbits around how we make money on social media, right? Because that was also one of the really big trends that we've seen as small business owners, where they all kind of got on IG, YouTube, and all these other modes of social media, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. I don't even know if Twitter counts, but I feel like we can see some or get some information on how that's going to change moving forward, of people making money that way. And so, again, I'm not so positive about that, just because I've already been ambivalent about that whole movement anyway. But I think eventually we'll get there, right? Because the problem is that we don't have the system and structure set up for it appropriately. And so what we've seen a lot of is, right, the separation stuff, right? I talked about this in other videos, where ultimately how I see this from a business perspective is that people are trying to cut out the middleman, right? Because ultimately Taurus is like, you don't have the money for this shit. You know, we got to build the income first. And since we're doing this at such a crucial time where income is already kind of non-existent, right? You know, it's like, well, we got to build up to that, right? And so Saturn's structures and systems have to get us there. So there'll be this manipulative thing where they're taking a whole bunch of money, and then they're going to use that money to kind of research. What they're doing is copying us, right? They're seeing what we're doing, how we're moving, what moves we're making, what moves we're not making, how we're making money, if we are making money. So they're going to take the data that they've collected over these last 18 months of this movement and make those systems and structures. I think we'll see maybe a lot more even further down the line. Not even in the next 6 months, but as us, as a collective, what we should be thinking about: studying more, learning more on marketing. Where are you going to build your network? How you're doing that, and having some goals around the kind of money that you want to bring in when it comes to that. Okay, and you know, for all the people who don't have businesses, this is obviously work. And so I'd even say that's probably where you'll get the stimulus or the child credit tax. Because there are a lot of people hiring, but I'm just not sure that people want those positions. So that's where I feel like they're going to end up like, eventually giving in to that remote work schedule, or making positions more mobile, like deliveries, just more flexible, because I'm trying to think back to so many different things, but I did really, really break this down in the Astrology careers for 2020, 2021, and 2022 video. It's like a webinar. It's about an hour and some change long. If you go back and listen to that video, actually it's probably about a year ago now, or December. If you go back and listen to that video, I broke down a lot of what my mouth is not able to say right now, because that's kind of like the transition to all these things. Again, I still think we have a lot more to go because they need the money, the funding, and they got to figure out how they can do that. So the more people keep fighting this, the more they'll have to give in, I feel. Also, in other countries, we can see this being played out where people are really struggling. I think Australia has been the top talk of all of this, where people aren't able to get things because they're not taking the mandate. So you also want to remember we have the Uranus and Saturn square and T square to Mercury, where we'll be hitting the third aspect of that. Now, I did a video where I broke that down intensely. I strongly suggest you go back and watch that video. It might not have the word Mercury in it, but it should definitely be Uranus, Saturn, T square. And that's going to give you more tidbits and talks about this. So, again, we could see this being played out as more or less that maybe they don't give us any of these universal things unless we agree to get the shot or the jab. Maybe I'm just being really hopeful. Maybe this is my Jupiter. My Jupiter truth. This is my truth. But it's headed to say that, and then my expectations get shot down. So again, I'm trying to make sure I cover the negatives and the positives, that just know that could be a thing, right? But those are just my thoughts and feelings. I don't think they can afford to continue fighting us on this because they need us to be making money to spend it. So I think they're going to have to negotiate. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. It'll be a lot more tense, the energy in December. So again, family, stay tuned as always for all of the updates on what's going on again. And as always, I would absolutely love for you guys to leave comments and let me know if anything in here is resonating, if you're experiencing this, any stories you care to share. It really helps me learn as an astrologer. But yeah, I definitely think we can see all of these things being played out in some way. So I've rambled on enough. I've taken up enough of your time, family. I love and appreciate every single one of y'all. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. Peace.